الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، وقد قال الله تعالى: متاع الدنيا قليل والآخرة خير لمن اتقى ولا تظلمون فتيلا. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the life to be present. It is the 15th night, right? 15th night. So for the general point, inshallah, I wanted to just remind about i'tikaf again. Right, i'tikaf, inshallah, will begin this Sunday, so before Maghrib, you sit down. One hadith that comes to mind in regards to it, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained that doing even one day of i'tikaf, it takes a person far from Jahannam, a long distance away from Jahannam, because our bad deeds, they draw us again close to Jahannam, and then act such good ibadats like i'tikaf, staying one day at the masjid, it was gonna put you far away from it. So we need to take advantage. This is the i'tikaf, sunnah. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never missed it, right? He, in the 1 year that he missed it, the next year he did it double, just to highlight to the ummah the importance of it. It's a time that the ulama have mentioned, i'tikaf is like going to a vacation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So imagine that your boss was giving you like a good vacation, but it was all of a sudden, and it was free. It was a gift vacation, but you had to put all your work aside, like other work, any other. Let's just say you do 2 jobs. So then, or let's just say somebody's giving it to you, not your boss. Someone's giving you a vacation package, but would you speak to your boss about it and take times off? How much would you go out of your way if it was a really nice vacation? Tickets are paid for, everything, your hotels are booked, everything is done. What would you do? If it's an expensive package, you'll go out of your way. You'll even figure out where to put the kids. You'll say, my kids will stay with my grandparents, and this goes over here, and that work, I'll delay this. My appointments, like I'll make one phone call over there, and we will make this work. Nobody's wasting money around here, right? So this i'tikaf is like a vacation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what the ulama, our teachers, have said. And it truly is. It's being basically, the masjid is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and being at the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then it's knocking on his door, just sitting there. So take advantage. At most, do nafal. If you can't do sunnah, but best is do a sunnah. It's usually dunya. We think that we're so connected to the dunya. Dunya attracts us in a negative way. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in the Quran. And actually, that brings us to the point. Actually, today our 15th principle is love of dunya. And so that brings us to the next point. In the book, our 15th principle, one of the spiritual diseases, is love of the world. Understand? One of the reasons why we won't sit is because we think that the world will stop revolving. Understand? We think without us, it's gonna, but it's not true like that. Where there's a will, there's a way. So that's that. May Allah subhanahu give all of us tawfiq. Make niyyah, plan to sit, inshallah. Also, we're gonna have a nice session after Asr. We're gonna have a lecture. We're gonna have one halaqa majlis of ilm after an Asr, inshallah, in the days of i'tikaf, in the 10 days. So even if you don't come the whole 10 days, but try to come to that after Asr, inshallah. Asr is 6 p.m., okay, the whole 10 days. You come, you're going to have 30 minutes where you get to ask questions, where we discuss Islamic rulings, and even this book. If you had some confusion, if you're reading this book and you had questions, that's the time you come and you can ask, inshallah. We can just have a nice little chat, inshallah. Everybody even put it on Zoom. Even the sisters could log in. Sisters will be able to join through Zoom, and the brothers could be here at the masjid or join with Zoom as well. Inshallah, we're going to send a message for that as well. Now, coming to the book, The Love of the Dunya, Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, you all can read on him what he says. Love of dunya. One hadith that comes to mind, the Prophet ﷺ said, soon there will one day come upon you a time that this is a hadith in Sunan Abi Dawud, that all the nations would, you'll become so weak, your ru'b will be taken out of the people's heart, the non-Muslims. Non-Muslims would have ru'b of Muslims, because these are believers, they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ prophesied there'll come a time that the non-Muslims won't fear you anymore. Your ru'b will be taken out, you'll be like worthless. And they will call each other to like attack you, understand, to go against you, like as though, friends are calling each other to a meal. Friends are calling each other to a meal, like, hey, let's go, let's have a bite, come, let's have a bite. You call your friends to a meal. The people, the non-believers, they will call each other to go attack the Muslims like that. So we find ourselves in this type of a situation, right? The Prophet ﷺ said that, and the Sahaba asked, Why? Are we going to be so little in number? Why is it that they're going to pick on us like that? And is there so no? He said, no. You all will have a very big number. You'll be very large in number, but you will be like ghutha. Ghutha is an Arabic word. It means that you will be like the scum. Basically, in the ocean, the trash that the leftover at the end, the leftover of the ocean. That's called ghutha. He said you'll be like that. Like the worthless part of the ocean, right? That's like the waste of the ocean goes to the side of the ocean. You'll be like that. You're irrelevant. And the roar will be taken out. And then he said, because in your heart there'll be wahan placed. The Sahaba asked, what's wahan? He said, wahan is love of dunya. Like you'll have too much love of dunya, and you dislike death. Like no one, and then you dislike death, and you have too much love of dunya. And that's our 15th principle. So this hadith came to my mind. So basically, it's one of the signs. We're going to be in this problem, and we find ourselves in that situation. It means now that the love of dunya is too much. So what it means is that now we have to work opposite. Try to take that love of dunya out. You realize the thing that gets in our way of all religious practice is love of dunya. If someone does not come for tarawih, it's probably because of his love of dunya. It's his relaxation. He can't even. He was not able to come out. Allah has blessed us to take this time out. I'tikaf also, whoever will not be able to do it, because the attachment to dunya. So love of dunya, it prevents us from all dini activities. And some have said that it's the root of all evils as well. The root of all evils. It's a spiritual disease. There are 4 enemies of man: the devil, your ego, and desires. Desires is like a attraction, a chemical that's there that pulls you towards things. Obviously some desires are okay, but you're going overboard with some. And the 4th is dunya itself. One of the enemies of man is dunya, because it's glamorous. Dunya, sometimes it deceives you to look that you were here forever. Are we here forever? No. So it's glamorous. It attracts you to it. Understand? In a negative way. But actually, if you look at the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left a sign. If you look deeply into the dunya, you realize dunya is so fleeting, isn't it? Look at even just life. You grow up as a child, you grow as an adult, you can grow as old age. The powerful creator who created this creation, right? If this was a permanent abode, he wouldn't have created it like that. If he was so powerful to create us, he wouldn't have created that you become a child, adult, and an old age. Also, you just look at everything, the grass, right? It comes out and then it dies. And he created the so that it shows that we're here for very temporary time. Mata'ud dunya qalil. The enjoyment of the dunya is very little. Wal akhirah, the hereafter is forever. Khayrun is much better for the people who have taqwa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to achieve taqwa in this month. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about dunya mata'ul ghurur, that the world is a temporary enjoyment of deception. I'm going a bit longer. Maulana Usman is late a bit. Okay? So inshallah, that's why I'm just elongating my speech a little bit. The dunya, Imam Jalaluddin Rumi rahimahullah, he says that the dunya is like water. Okay, human being, you're like a boat. So keep the water outside the boat. If the water comes inside the boat, then the boat is going to sink. So you have to keep the dunya outside of your heart. Okay, what has to be in your heart? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created the dunya, and He Himself told you, I created the dunya. I have placed good and evil inside you, and I've created it as a test. Understand? So therefore, we have to comply. And if you look deeply into matters, you realize that it is the way the Creator has mentioned it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rid us of these spiritual diseases. We've talked about 5 so far, right? Greed. What did we talk about yesterday? Jealousy. Everybody remembers that? Right? Jealousy. What was the problem of jealousy? Oh, we should test you all too. How come I'm just lecturing and there's no pop quizzes? Yeah, I should maybe ask you a question about what I said and see how much you all are paying attention. So what's the problem of jealousy? Yes? You have to hit this point on the head. What's the problem of jealousy?
Because you're disagreeing with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to another person.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're disagreeing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has distribution. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving people gifts, and you have a problem with what gift Allah has given. And remember, I cited the examples, and some other examples came. So inshallah, alhamdulillah, it's coming to my mind. Let me just share it before I forget. Remember, I gave the example of Imam Hanifa rahimahullah. I gave the example of Islamic law, right? I gave the example that people actually, jealousy is actually one of the reasons a human being doesn't submit to the truth, because you're jealous. Okay, like Sahaba Ikram, some person could have a problem with Sahaba Ikram. Like, oh, we're humans, Sahaba are humans. Why are they so great? You're just being jealous. They're so great because they had the company of. Well, we think we're great. Like so long after, like we got our Islam, right? We have it, alhamdulillah, preserved. But so far we are from Rasulullah's time. The people who had the company, that they are Sahaba Ikram. Prophet ﷺ said, each one of my Sahaba is like a guiding star, right? So these are statuses that Prophet ﷺ himself gave to Sahaba Ikram. So they have a high maqam. So somebody in their jealousy, they might feel like, how come Sahaba Ikram have such a high maqam? They have a maqam because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they have a high maqam, because Prophet ﷺ said they have a high maqam. So these are things. Also, if you look, the Jews, the Bani Israel, the real Bani Israel, not the Israel, the Zionist regime. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the true Bani Israel, right? Yaqub alayhi salam, from Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam. All the Anbiya came with Bani Israel, all the way till the end. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from the family of Ismail alayhi salam. So the Yahud, they thought that he has to come from the Bani Israel. He can't come from the Arabs. But where did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam come from? From the Arabs. So at that time, what overcame them? Jealousy. They're saying that all the Anbiya, Prophet Zakaria alayhi salam, Prophet Yahya alayhi salam, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, they all came. They have to come. And their family was all the kingdom and all the prophethood. And they said he come from the Arabs. The last prophet came from the Arabs. They couldn't swallow that. They said no. They were actually there even in Madinah al-Munawwara. They were ready. They're like, we're going to believe in the last prophet. But when he came, they're like, no. This doesn't fit the bill. We can't accept a prophet coming from the Arabs. They used to look down upon the Arabs. Because they were at that time of Jahiliyyah. So they said, a prophet come from the Arabs, we cannot accept that. This was just their jealousy. Allah SWT can select whoever He wants. He had selected the Arabs, that the last prophet will come from the Arabs. They had to accept, and they couldn't accept. So you and I, this Ramadan, let's make a pledge to ourselves. This spiritual disease of jealousy, we're not going to let this be a barrier from the truth. Inshallah. Yeah. So that's that. I mean, you can give lots of examples. That's why Allah SWT mentions jealousy in the Quran in different ways to try to explain it to us. That don't have this hasad. Don't let hasad come in the way of truth. So these are 5 spiritual diseases. There's 5 more left. Inshallah, we'll continue next time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala purify us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do our tazkiyah. May Allah cleanse in our hearts. May Allah may Allah put His love in our hearts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the love of pious people in our hearts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the love of good deeds in our hearts.